Hello everyone. In this video, we will see how to work with text effectively. Let's first go online and get some text. We will simply paste it here. Okay, it seems that I can't copy the text like this, so let me try something else. Okay, I think that works. Now some really simple points. When you're working with text, of course, you don't want to keep a lot of points on the slide. It's important that you don't read from the slide. You should only have the bullets on the slide and you should actually do the talking. Think of it this way, that if you are simply reading what is on the slide, then what really is the point of you presenting it? You might as well send the slide as an email, isn't it? Now, these are things that I will talk about in much more detail in one of our later modules when we talk about the storytelling, the narrative building side of it. But for now, let's look at the text more from a technical perspective in terms of how we can handle it. So one of the first tips that I have is that when you're working with text, don't keep it in a single column. Break it into two columns. For example, what you see here, the amount of text is the same, but they have broken it into two columns. Let's see how we do that. So right click, and then I go to Format Shape. Then we go to Size and Properties and Text Box. And here we have an option called Columns. And as you can see, I can split the text into two columns. Let's keep a spacing of 0.5. And here we go. Now we have two columns with us. How easy was that? I'm putting a screenshot here as well, just for your reference. Like this. The other point that I have is that when you're working with text, many times after you create the text and you try to reduce the size of the box, you notice that the font size is not changing. To control that, we can again go back to Size and Properties, and there's an option called Resize Shape to Fit Text. That's the default one. But I can also set it to Shrink Text on Overflow, which means that as I reduce the size of my text box, you will notice that the font will decrease automatically. This can be a huge time saver, and it saves you the effort of not having to manually increase and decrease the size every single time. So this is the option that we have. Here we go. Let's work with a shape now. So let's say we have a rectangle with us, and I have written analysis here. When I go back to Size and Properties, we have the text direction, that's horizontal, stacked, rotate. So rotation will do this. There are some cases where you might want to do the rotation as well, like this. Also, we have this option for vertical alignment, where we have top, middle, bottom. So if I select top, then it goes to the top. The reason I mention this is because for the left, right, and the center, we already know we have a left, right, and center here. That's easy. But then we also have the option for align, which is here, top, middle, bottom. And if you want all the options, then you can always go to the Format Shape button. So for example, if I go here and I go to more options, the same set of options should open up. Let me put a screenshot here. One more suggestion that I would give you is to keep your text and your shapes independent of each other. Let me explain why I say that. Let's say that you have made a circle, and in this you are writing analysis of last quarter, something like that. Now you notice that as I increase the size after a certain point, it doesn't allow me to keep more text in a single line. It flows, it wraps into the next line. Now, of course, you can go through the options and try to figure out if the margin can be changed. So I can right click, go to size and position, and then you can see here we have a left, right, top, bottom margin. So if I make the left margin 0 and the right margin 0, it still doesn't work, right? So it's quite difficult to do it. There are some options available, but pretty hard to figure out which one is it that you want. The easiest way is to keep a text box. So I will insert a text box like this. Let's keep it in the center and maybe white in color, and I can keep it on top. Now this means that I can control these independently, as you can see. Now I can go right up till the left and the right corner of, or rather the perimeter of my shape. So that's the suggestion. I'm also going to write it down here. So keep your shape and text box separate. Other than this, the selection pane that I have already discussed before, it's pretty useful. So when I, let's just say, search for the selection pane, let's say you have a lot of different objects on the screen, it can be quite handy to use the selection pane. One more suggestion I have when you want to align a lot of objects is to create a table and then remove the border later. What that means is I will insert a table, and you can see I can insert a table like this. I can put some text in it, and later we can go to the shading, remove it, go to the borders, and for now I'll keep a border, but after I keep the text, I can go back and select no border. So this is a quick, easy way of aligning a lot of stuff that you have on your slide. Let me just give you an example. I'm just taking a few of these points. So Control C, let's paste this here. And I want to make everything a different color. Okay. Okay, it seems I can't copy that, which was the problem earlier as well. So let me copy it in a slightly different way. Here we go. And maybe one more point. Perfect. I think that looks good. What we want to do now is to maybe keep an image as well. So I will take one of these images. In fact, we can select one directly from PowerPoint. So insert, pictures, and then we choose something here. Now, do you see how much easier, everyone, it is to align everything? And once the alignment has been done, then you can simply select the table and then in the borders, choose no border. Imagine how much more effort it would have taken you to align all of these things. It's a dirty trick, but it gets the job done.